Jason, tell me about NFTs. What do you got, brother?
Oh my God, I have so many things to tell you. I'm now a wrestler. This is the Weekly Link, where each week Jason Brenizer, that's me, and Mark Cruz, my business partner, share what grabbed our attention, what slapped us across the face, what bowled us over, and what made us pause and rethink our assumptions in the world of blockchain and all things on the road to Web3. Now, sometimes you'll hear us talk about the Phenomenal Future Project and Blockmark, two aligned long-term projects we have going on, and Samito, our first gamified art series, which all play in the NFT and smart contract arena. And along the way, you'll get a behind-the-scenes look at our triumphs and our struggles as we explore this new decentralized world of opportunity. Now, I like to say that there's an infinite onion to peel, but we've got the passion and perseverance to take it one layer at a time. Welcome to the Weekly Link. I got caught up. There were a couple of videos that I had, I've been having trouble with the streaming, so I didn't record directly to YouTube. And I've also noticed that YouTube, I seem to get more views when I upload stuff as opposed to go live streaming on YouTube.
Oh, interesting.
So I think from now on, I will stream to Facebook and record at the same time. And then I will bring that into, the editing software and just, add the little subscribe now buttons and those kinds of things, which I just started to. So I got little snippets of video to be able to pop that on top of what I've recorded.
Nice.
So there will be a point where I'm going to hire some editor from the Philippines or something to really take it up a notch. Someone who's doing that all day long and can just knock that stuff out. But we're not there yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In the meantime, you have the power. You have the
I have the power. It's like I'm He-Man, and there's what was that? Did you ever watch that cartoon, or are you too young for that?
By the power of Zoomcast.
Yes, exactly. You got
By
it.
the power of YouTube. Yep. No, I watched He-Man. I had He-Man action figures when I was a kid.
Okay. Yeah. The whole by the power of I have the power. Never understood. It's like, couldn't you have written something a little bit better, like power in the same sentence twice? What? But whatever. Kids, I noticed that as a kid. I guess maybe other kids didn't care so much. I'm like critiquing the writing, and I'm 9 years old or something.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Working through it. I noticed not your last, it's like your two or three videos ago, the hook was really good. It reminded me of so many other YouTube video things I've seen. It was the hate your job, don't do this one thing.
Okay, good. It caught your attention. I've been working very hard on titles that are not quite so direct and are more about open loops and kind of pattern interrupt and all of that. So good. That's good. I appreciate the feedback.
Eye-catching.
Yeah. I'm also trying to make the covers for the videos.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Less busy and just more like you scan it and you kind of, again, pattern interrupt something that's like, what? Oh, interesting. I'll click on that.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta see. I gotta see what that is. I gotta see what this guy says about that or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday, I also got the first podcast episode up on Substack.
Oh wow, nice. Wait, so you're on Substack also? That's active.
As Phenomenal Future Project.
All right. So NFT WTF. So many acronyms, but don't be afraid. All right, cool.
I don't know if I'm going to be doing exactly the same shorts content to TikTok versus YouTube. I don't really know right now, maybe just for the interest of getting stuff out. But if we're to follow Gary Vee's advice, then I need to be posting shorts 4 times a day. And and that means probably recording something that's a little bit longer form knowing that I will try to figure out a way to chop it into 4 things.
Yeah. Nice.
I'll almost make little stories that will cascade throughout a day. I think is kind of what my initial tactic will be, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Awesome. So then the key is that at 4 different intervals on our Monday meeting, you need to have something like, Jason, tell me about NFTs. What do you got, brother?
Oh my God, I have so many things to tell you. I'm now a wrestler. Yeah. Actually, wrestling NFTs would be pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, they're doing was it the Top Shots or the
NBA
clips? Yep.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
I have to say this. I'm getting a little trying not to get overwhelmed. I'm getting a little overwhelmed about all of the possibilities, of course, on where content can go, of course, and not just putting the same content on every platform. Really thinking about what each one has to offer and what the audiences prefer in those different arenas. But I'm still trying not to let the overwhelm get to me. It's like, no, I'm just going to keep creating, and eventually we'll figure out. We'll have enough statistics to really say, oh yeah, those really aren't working well. Let's stop doing that stuff over here.
Yeah. Have a good feel for what's a good fit between the audience, what they want, and also you and what you want to make, right? Because there has to be alignment there.
Yeah, I bet you anything. Obviously we talk about helping artists in this whole arena, but there are a lot of different artist types. So do painters hang out on the same social media as music producers, or are authors on some other platform, more like Medium or something like that, where it's a written platform as opposed to watching video or podcasts, something like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out too.
Yeah. Yep. Once again, back to tracking the stats, looking at the statistics. That's good. That's good to catch yourself, though, right?
Yeah. I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Tell me about NFTs.
Tell me about NFTs. What do you know? Which ones are the whales buying?
Arg. What is the Moby Dick of NFTs?
Oh man. There's a lot of opportunity with NFTs.
I mean, look at that. You could do a whole series of Moby Dick characters. You could have different whales. You could have, Ishmael, of course.
Of course.
Captain Ahab. I mean, in so many different situations.
There you go.
That would be really strange. To take somebody else's original IP that's obviously in the public domain and create NFTs out of that. Why not, right? It's kind of a ready-made, audience that might love, really old stories.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those where I believe that there's kind of maybe there's more than 2, but I'm going to call it 2 categories. There's the category of, someone's just churning out something that's old to make a buck. But then and obviously there's a lot of negative connotation there, but then if you love that book and you love that story and you love that, and you have such respect and appreciation for it, I think there's an opportunity to take that public domain old IP and make it relevant and bring it to the current discourse, the current dialogue, the current people. And I think if the project is approached with respect, then there's an opportunity to do that really well. And the beautiful thing about your focus on NFTs, and the beautiful thing about this whole idea of audience building, is the individual that has that love and respect for the NFT or for the content and makes NFTs of Ahab and Ishmael and the various characters of Moby Dick. Their audience is going to know it. It's going to come through. There's going to be a huge cascading difference, a felt sense difference of the individual that's recycling versus the individual that really loves the content and engages with their audience.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day. Michelle downloaded a new Sherlock Holmes book.
Mm.
Okay. So it too is in the public domain. So pretty much anybody can take those characters and write novels in that arena, and
Mm-hmm.
people are doing it. And there's a lot of success happening in that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be interesting to really find out, like, I mean, maybe Moby Dick's not the answer, right? That's
Yeah.
probably a good standalone book, but there are probably plenty of others that people would love to see, like a tangential character, you know, in one of
Mm-hmm.
those Jane Austen books or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and to kind of follow what their life was all about. Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity there to kind of just extend the world, but not all artists will want to do that. Some of them will want to create their own, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it might be
Oh
one
yeah,
way to
that's
get
a niche.
traction. You know, there are plenty of authors. I think James Patterson's a good example, right? He writes the Alex Cross books and a lot of others. He's a super fast writer, one of the best selling authors in the world for fiction.
Mm.
And I'd say in the last 10 years, he's actually partnered with a whole bunch of up and coming writers where he'll come up with the concept of the book. They'll go off and write it for the most part, and he'll come back and kind of put his finishing touches on it and maybe change it to his voice and that kind of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
they are both listed on the book. And this is
Mm.
one way for up and coming authors to leverage his audience. You know, if
Yeah.
they like their combo writing, they might also like that author's, you know, new works. It's
Mm-hmm.
one way to get a leg up. And I can see that kind of opportunity for a lot of artists as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a, you know, the team effort. It's
Yeah.
why rap stars totally, you know, combine, or different musicians, you know, are, it's like, why did those people collaborate?
Mm.
It's because they want to introduce each other to each other's audiences and go that much bigger.
Yeah.
That's a smart move. You know, tie yourself to a speedboat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And hope you don't just get dragged into the drink.
That's right. Yeah.
You got to be able to keep up.
You got to work those water skis. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And yeah, I suppose with the ability to, in this case, reference said material via Ethernet address or via smart contract token address, there's an opportunity to do that building within the NFT community as well, or within the blockchain community, really,
Mm-hmm.
because smart contracts can be referenced because they're all
Right.
visible on this global transparent ledger. There's an opportunity to do those types of collaborations with things that already exist on the blockchain, just by doing a contract address reference, which is exciting.
And in that case, you don't actually have to ask for permissions.
That's a good question. I guess it depends on the licensing and where you live and all of that, because there's the contract address, which well, I guess actually the functions on it may or may not be whitelisted, which means you may or may not have access to execute them, but you can look at them. You can look at the contract. You can look what's going on, and then you can make um, your own permutations. Subject to the terms of the license of the intellectual property, right?
Right. Yeah, I think a simple way to kind of participate with an existing NFT series in that way would basically say, oh, all of the people who happen to own NFTs over here, let's say, you know, VFriends or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you know, might get an airdrop of the series that you're putting out. And it's that simple. It's just checking the chain. Oh, who are the holders of these things? And they automatically get to participate in yours. So it tie you to, you know, definitely a raving fan base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, maybe you get some traction, or maybe it's not all of the holders, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
a random selection or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if the VFriends people would particularly like that, but again, I don't think they'd have control over that kind of participation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you can airdrop or send into a wallet without um, without permission. But people will usually have to accept. Do they have to accept? No, I don't think they even have to accept it.
That would be interesting. What could you write an NFT contract almost like a Trojan horse,
Mhm.
and that the code of the contract could futz with your wallet if you get airdropped this thing?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I think that's been done. But the thing is, the code isn't executed on airdrop. The code is executed on then you interacting with that contract. So then calling any functions against that contract.
Hmm.
That's something to look into, especially since the whole idea of airdropping is really useful. I forget about airdropping to people that bought into another project, airdropping to people that bought into your project,
Right. Yeah.
right? Being able to continually engage with your audience by airdropping stuff to their to
Mhm.
those that have already bought into your project. Um, yeah, my understanding is if it's an asset, it shows up, and if there's any nefarious code in there, it doesn't execute unless you try and execute a contract function.
Hmm. That's that's definitely something we'll have to look into because
Yeah.
obviously someone's thought of that as a problem already. I just haven't read about it. It
Yeah.
just kind of dawned on me right now.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine we're the first to think of that.
Yeah. No, no, fortunately not. Far enough down the line. A lot of this has been tread before.
Very good.
Aside from that, what else? Yeah, I mean, I did the from the weekly roll up. I did some digging into Tornado Cash just to understand what was going on there, and then yeah, and then did some poking around on. I've been trying to get everything set up to do some Polygon dev. So
Great.
I've got Matic. I've got I connected to the Mumbai test network, and I got Matic from the public faucet. So I don't know if you're familiar with a faucet.
Nope. Tell me about
So
the faucet.
so there's this amazing thing that that many of the blockchains do. I'm just going to stay focused on Ethereum. So Ethereum and Polygon both, their entire network is distributed worldwide, right? But if you want to put anything on the network, it costs you money. It costs you, let's use, since we're on Polygon, I'll use Polygon. So if you want to put a smart contract on Polygon, then you got to pay Matic to put a smart contract on Polygon. Well, obviously, when you do development of a rather large project, you want to test it first. And so you can run your own local test network. You can run your own local node, they call it, your own local device that runs all of the same operations as a network. Or Polygon has worldwide distributed test networks that are set up as well. You can
Yeah.
run a test network node. And within this test network, because it operates just like the production network, it requires Matic, it requires the native cryptocurrency to use it. Well, you can't buy test network Matic
Right.
on Coinbase because it has no value. You need it to execute, to pay gas, to deploy smart contracts, and so instead there's this, which really speaks to the community. It was another inspiring thing to find. You have to get it from someone. You got to get it from somewhere else. So you got to hit
Okay.
someone up and get it. And so what people have done is they've established what are called faucets. And with a faucet, you can go and you can submit your public key address, your public address on the test network. So in this case, the Polygon Mumbai test network public key address for my wallet,
Yeah.
I can put into the faucet, and they will send you 10 Matic, or they will send you, some amount of the currency. And then you have that in your wallet to do your smart contract testing and deployment and all that jazz. And then they only ask when you're done that you send that whatever currency out of your wallet back to back to the faucet when you're done. So a faucet will usually have their own public address as well. That way, when you're finished with your coding, you can push the water back up the faucet. You can put
It goes
the
into the tank.
goes into the tank.
Yeah.
You can put it back into the tank. So
Well, technically, I mean, if you spend the Matic,
mhm,
it's going to another address when you do
that's
that,
right. Yep.
right? And do you have access to that other address where it's going when you're testing, or is
It
that
depends. So there's gas. When you pay gas fees, like no, that goes back to the network, and
yeah,
the network operates as the production network does, and so some amount is burned, and some amount um, is given to those that operate the test nodes, et cetera, et cetera. Which I think a lot of those that operate test nodes also offer faucets because they're passively receiving the gas from the
yeah,
transactions. If you're testing on the network, you're usually testing if you're testing buying something, you're usually testing buying something from another smart contract that you know and understand and control. And so maybe you would have two wallets set up, and then you can test buying. So you would send money to the second wallet to buy a service or buy something through the
yeah.
smart contract, and then you would have control of both. But
Okay.
I'm struggling to think. No, that's true. That's a good point. There would be situations where you might want to use some kind of publicly available smart contract that does some function that you don't want to rewrite, and they have some kind of fee to operate on top of gas.
Hmm.
Um, in that case, you would be paying money into a wallet that you don't control.
Hmm. Yeah.
You wouldn't get it back,
Okay.
but then you just
And
go back to the faucet.
Polygon uses the same term gas as Ethereum.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I'm assuming so. Seems to be a
Why
universal
not?
term. Why
Right.
not?
Since it's a layer two, why not? Yeah.
That's right.
And you told me late last week
Mhm.
about the news about the merge.
Yes, that's very exciting. Very exciting.
To
So
tell,
The Gurley
yeah,
test network migration has been completed. It went well enough where the developers for the Ethereum platform have established what the final block will be on the blockchain. So it's a chain of blocks. So they've
yeah,
determined what the final block number will be. That block number is anticipated to hit somewhere around the September 15th, September 16th, 14th to 16th timeframe, and and what that means is we have a date, we have a time frame for when Ethereum is going to have their merge. They're going to merge the Ethereum 2.0 chain with the Ethereum 1.0 chain, and fully roll over from a proof of work mechanism to a proof of stake mechanism.
and proof of stake should help with speed of transactions, number of transactions within a certain amount of time. I suppose those are related, and also use a lot less energy, I guess, in the way that they're securing the network.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot less. So the big things I think people are looking forward to are number one, a lot less energy. Number two, the ability to stake and receive rewards and be able to go in and out. And so through the whole cycle of testing Ethereum proof of stake, they have allowed people to act as stakers and act as validators. And they've had this chain running alongside the proof of work chain where every transaction goes to both chains. People who are running a node, which is basically a computer, people who are running a computer to maintain the blockchain, basically to keep the blockchain online and to look at new transactions, to either bundle them up and include them, or to validate that someone else that bundled them up and included them did it correctly and didn't interject any nefarious transactions. Uh, all of the people running those nodes have been able to stake Ethereum on those nodes. And the reason that's important is they get rewards as being validators for staking, and the rewards are fluctuating. I don't recall the exact mechanism of what determines the percentage, but I'll just say somewhere on average 4 to 6% return in Ether. So the ether that you put up, you will earn more ether on top of that. Now, anyone who put up ether to stake, either directly, which requires that you put up 32 ether, or indirectly through pooling, which allows you to kind of pool together with other people. If you don't have 32 ether, so you've only got 2 ether, and you want to stake 2 ether and earn the return on 2 ether, you can pool with other people via Rocket Pool or via Lido to earn staking rewards, lower staking rewards, but earn staking rewards on your ETH. All of the people that have done that, their ether has been locked up. Like, you can't get it out, can't take it back. Like, it's just sitting there earning, and there's no way to get it out. Mm-hmm. Because anyone who decided to do this was made keenly aware that they would be staking until the actual launch, the actual merge, the actual launch of ETH 2.0, the actual launch of proof of stake. And so after this launch, people who have been staking will finally be able to get their ETH unlocked. They'll be able to get their staked ETH, trade it back for regular ETH, and be able to get all of their rewards, actually get to realize their return. There's some delay, and there's some mechanism that's been developed, which would be another thing to dig into. I would add this to the spreadsheet of unstaking ETH staking rewards and unstaking. But there's a way to finally get your ETH out. Now, with the transition to proof of stake, not only do those that have been staking have an opportunity to get their money out, but my understanding, there's a lot of excitement around the ability for the, what is it? Not the legitimacy. It will become mathematically transparent, the return on investment of staking ETH, and it will become, more importantly, transparent, the value of block space. So why is it important to understand the value of block space? The way I understand it is the volatility of price on Ether is related to this kind of, no, let me frame this a different way. Ethereum is offering a service. It's offering block space. It's offering the ability to store information and to be able to store smart contracts on a globally transparent network. And so on this globally transparent network, Ethereum allows the transparent indication that I have transferred something to you. I've transferred Ethereum, the currency. I've transferred some other layer 2 currency like Matic. I've transferred some NFT asset. Ethereum allows us to do that. And so what is Ethereum in the business of? They're in the business of selling block space. They're in the business of selling transaction space on this globally transparent network. There are many reasons one would want to use this public good that some of which I've just listed. And Ethereum as a service is offering the ability to do that. All right.
Yeah.
There's been this idea around Ether that it's a currency, and there's been this relation of Ether to fiat currency, of this cryptocurrency to US dollars, based upon kind of public opinion and kind of what's being talked about in the news, and kind of what people are coalescing around the price on. The idea behind, or what some individuals are really excited about with the launch of proof of stake, is it will become much more transparent, the interplay of those that stake, those that validate, and the service that's provided to allow for predictable return on investment on Ether that is staked into the system, and also not a quantitative, a calculable value for that block space. A lot of within the community of Bankless, as an example, there's this idea that right now block space is highly undervalued. So one ether right now is worth like $2,000, almost $2,000. As of today, Monday, August 15th, I haven't looked, but when I looked yesterday, it was like 1874 or 1900, something like that. All right. So based on how much something is being used, supply and demand, there is a way to determine the real world value of a service or commodity based upon usage. The the transition to proof of stake opens up this mathematical consistency in being able to determine the value of a block, the value of the service, and also with that, predictably determine the return that you get on staking. With that, the hope is over the course of the next 6 to 12 months, the price of Ether as it relates to fiat currency will stop being cryptocurrency volatile and will coalesce around something that's more like oil volatile, like standard wheat volatile,
Still
like
volatile, but
still
not
volatile, but now within this band of volatility that's not sweeping, 50% in wild swings,
yeah.
on an almost daily basis, but back into the realm of like oil prices. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so that's really exciting too. That should get, hopefully it brings a lot more uh, investment from the standpoint of individuals looking to earn some return on their ether, or return on their money.
Yeah.
And then also with the lowering volatility of ether as a cryptocurrency, hopefully it will increase the visibility into Ethereum, not as a currency, but as a utility or as a public service, right?
Right.
It's like, imagine, you put your money in a bank and you kind of assume that your lending of the bank money or putting money into their bank is paying for them to run all the servers to make sure that you can see your account balance, right? Um, well, Ethereum is hosting kind of a similar database, but for the entire world, and so
Right. Right.
so yeah, that's a lot.
Well, and up to this point, so much of the applications that have been built on top of Ethereum have been all about money.
Yeah,
I mean, in a sense, right? It's the whole decentralized finance. That was kind of the first grouping of use cases that came along. So it, I think, reinforced the concept of, Ethereum is similar to fiat currency.
yeah, for
But
sure.
now with NFTs and smart contracts, and hopefully the blossoming of that into a variety of, um, more real world functions like insurance and uh, you know, contracts for buying and selling houses and things like that. Like that definitely pushes us into the realm of value,
Yeah,
um, and function over just, you know, equivalent to dollars or something like that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep,
So good.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good, because
It's exciting.
I have some ETH that's been staked for quite some time.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming soon. Coming soon, September. It's
Uh,
yeah, it's a month away. 4 weeks away.
so you recall the problem that I talked about, I ranted about on one video as well, about the problem I was having setting up a corporate trading account as opposed
Yep.
to a personal trading account. The difficulty of there was some legal stuff that had to be set up, and then I banks wouldn't even allow me to create a checking account. The 4 or 5 banks said no, and I finally found one. And then the problem with the actual cryptocurrency exchanges having
Mhm.
lots of confusion about setting up a corporate account for me. In fact, Coinbase never got back to me after a month, me just having to wait, and hopefully I would get an email kind of thing. And then the problem with Bittrex, like just getting confused because I already had a personal account and they were trying to verify me, but they said, you're already verified. You already have an account. You can't have a second account. No, but I was caught in that loop of, you
Mhm.
know, no, this is a corporate account, but I can't verify the account. Well, they finally verified the account
Oh.
um, on Friday. And then I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll go ahead and just link my bank account and I'll finally get that money over there. Nope, my my bank doesn't support Plaid, which is
Oh
the
my
way that they
God.
link. Um, and so the other option was wire transfer,
Hmm.
and it was after 2 o'clock on a Friday, and the bank was
Uh,
like, "Sorry, you missed the cutoff for wire transfers." So the bank called me today about the wire transfer. Supposedly it's going through and I'll actually have funded that account, but it's been over a 2 month process, right? And
wow.
so this and we're not total newbies when it comes to blockchain
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
wallets and understanding all of these things, and yet we have so many obstacles. I can see how most people are still not feeling comfortable about
Yeah.
putting their money into this thing that is still so clunky.
Yeah.
Uh, so we'll see. We'll see if let's see how long it takes the money to unlock after it actually gets transferred over to the
Yeah.
trading platform. And maybe it's on hold for 10 days for all I know. And I'm
Yeah.
still going to miss more opportunity when it comes to ETH go up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because within that 2 month window, you saw ETH hit 1,000, and now it's already back up to 1,900.
Right. So I could have doubled my money,
Yeah.
and I started that process a month before that that low was happening, just because
Mhm.
I knew I saw it going down to a level that I thought, now I want to put more money into the market.
Yeah.
And I don't want, of course, I don't want on the podcast for people to know how much money.
Right. Yeah.
It's like $8, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
No wonder the banks didn't want to set up an account. No, that's not true. It was a
Mhm.
sizable chunk, and
Mhm.
you would think that the banks would have been happy to, like, oh, he's going to have a lot of money coming in and out, and we're going to earn transaction fees. And nope,
No.
no. For some reason, banks are conservative.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that saga is maybe close to being closed
Sounds,
here. I'll definitely tell you more on that on Wednesday.
yeah, it sounds much further along than it was on Friday. So when we talked
That's
on
true.
Friday, it was it was still a big question mark.
Yeah, that's right. Bitrix was still like, they hadn't gotten back to me in a week.
Mhm.
Yeah, after
Yeah.
somebody went on vacation, basically, is what happened, and they didn't hand it over to some another person, so it was just
Yeah.
caught in you know uh, support ticket limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun game. Support ticket limbo.
Limbo, limbo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's good. That's good progress. That's really good progress. Yeah, I got to go and do a wire transfer on Friday as well. So, given the price of euro right now, and given Brandy and I would like to go back to Europe, and the price of yen, Japanese yen, given we want to go back to Japan, we felt it was a good time to buy some euro and some yen and just hold it, just
yeah.
keep it there. And so, in order to do that, I had to wire transfer, which I got to say, I greatly prefer just going on my phone into Coinbase and sending to
Yeah,
another address. Way easier and faster.
way easier and faster. Yeah,
Yeah.
most banks, like my credit union, if I want to do just a deposit of a check,
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Like, my limit is $5,000 check
Mm.
on,
Mm-hmm.
on the credit union. Now, credit union's not who I went with for for what I'm trying to do with the cryptocurrency trading account, but air transfers online, small limit, so you have to actually
Yeah.
go into the bank. That whole process, it's just a
Physically
waste of time.
show up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And then at the branch, do they actually have the right people? No.
No, I've
Sorry,
had that
she's
happen
not in
too, where
today.
they messed up the wire transfer, and then I had to go and rattle their cage to get a refund because they wanted to charge me the wire transfer fee for the wire transfer that they messed up. So I had to go rattle their cage to get a refund on the wire transfer fee. So
Jeez. Yeah. Yes.
It's fine. They honored that and they actually refunded both. They made because they messed it up, they made it free. But still, it's much
You had to
easier.
ask.
I had to ask.
They didn't do it automatically. Yeah.
Much easier to do a digital transfer via the blockchain.